Somehow, these celebs knew just when they were going to die. Today, we're counting down the top 10 celebrities who correctly predicted their own deaths. James Dean only appeared in 3 movies before he died, with East of Eden the only one releasing while he was alive. He got into racing shortly before his death, and just a few months before, he gave a cautionary tale about America's highways. James said, "People say racing is dangerous, but I'll take my chances on the track any day than on the highway. Take it easy on the highway. The life you save may be mine." While driving his Porsche 550 Spyder on September 30th, 1955, Donald Turnseed turned left in an intersection which caused James to crash his Porsche directly into Donald's Ford. James was killed instantly. The 27 Club is the name given to a group of musicians who all died too young at the age of 27, including Jimi Hendrix. When he was only 23, Jimi recorded the song The Ballad of Jimi with singer Curtis Knight. The song's lyrics include many things he would try, for he knew soon he'd die. Now Jimmy's gone, he's not alone, his memory lives on. 5 years, this he said. He's not gone, he's just dead. Almost 5 years to the month of the record, Jimi was found dead in a London hotel room, dying of asphyxia caused by barbiturate overdose. Mikey Welsh became Weezer's second bass player after the Mighty Mighty Bosstones recommended him to Rivers Cuomo. He officially joined the band in '98 and played on the Green album. During prep for Weezer's 4th album, Mikey couldn't be found, and Weezer found a replacement bassist in Scott Schreiner. Mikey ended up being hospitalized after a suicide attempt. He left the band to become a visual artist in Vermont. On September 26, 2011, Mikey tweeted about a dream, writing, "Dreamt I died in Chicago the weekend after next. Heart attack in my sleep. Need to write my will today." On the eve of Weezer's show on October 9, 2011, Mikey was found dead on the floor of a Chicago hotel room, apparently from a heart attack caused by a drug overdose. Like other musicians, the Notorious B.I.G. rapped about his early death and predicted that it was coming. In 1994, he released his debut album, Ready to Die, which ended with the song Suicidal Thoughts, which included lyrics like, "I swear to God, I feel like death is calling me, but nah, you wouldn't understand." 3 years later, he was gunned down in Los Angeles on March 9, 1997 by an unknown assassin. Less than 3 weeks later, his final album was released titled Life After Death. The cover of the album was a photo taken of Biggie 6 weeks before his death, leaning against a hearse with a license plate that read B.I.G. Frank Pastore was a pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, Minnesota Twins, and Texas Rangers from 1979 to 1986. After retiring, he hosted his own radio talk show called The Frank Pastore Show. On November 19, 2012, he asked his listeners, "You guys know I ride a motorcycle, don't you? So at any moment, especially with the idiot people who cross the diamond lane into my lane, all right, without any blinkers, not that I'm angry about it, but at any minute I could be spread out all over the 210. Hours after he made this comment, he was riding his motorcycle on Interstate 210 when a Hyundai Sonata drifted into his lane. He was hospitalized with severe head injuries, and less than a month later, he succumbed to those injuries. Mark Twain either predicted his own death or willed it into existence. He was born November 30th, 1835, which was the same day that Halley's Comet passed by Earth, as it does every 75 years. In 1909, Mark said, "I came in with Halley's Comet. It is coming again next year." The Almighty had said, "No doubt." Now there are these two unaccountable freaks. They came in together. They must go out together. His prediction was right. On April 21st, 1910, one day after Halley's Comet passed Earth, Mark died of a heart attack. Pistol Pete Maravich had a 10-year-long NBA career which was cut short by injuries and still holds the all-time NCAA men's basketball scoring record for a single season with 1,381. After retiring from basketball, he became a born-again Christian. In 1974, a then 26-year-old Pete gave an interview with the Beaver County Times in Pennsylvania saying, "I don't want to play 10 years and then die of a heart attack at the age of 40. On January 5th, 1988, 6 months into his 40th year, Pete died of a heart attack while playing pickup basketball. On April 3, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. arrived in Memphis, Tennessee, giving his famous last speech titled, "I've Been to the Mountaintop." The speech highlighted his priorities, including equal rights for all mankind and social justice. But it was his final few lines that were prophetic. He said, "Like anybody, I would like to live a long life, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will." He added, "I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you." The next morning, on April 4, 1968, he was killed by a sniper's bullet in front of his hotel. Grigory Rasputin didn't just predict his own death, but also the fall of the Russian monarchy. By 1916, he was in with the Romanovs, Russia's ruling family. The Tsarina was fascinated by him after he cured her son's hemophilia with just a touch and a mandate from God. But things were changing. He wrote a letter to the Tsarina that he would be killed by New Year's, and the Romanovs would be dead within 2 years. 2 days before New Year's in 1917, Rasputin was shot, poisoned, and drowned. The entire Romanov family was dead half a year later. Along with Dave Grohl and Krist Novoselic, Kurt Cobain changed the music industry forever with the band Nirvana. Kurt's prediction about his death is associated with multiple predictions that he shared with a school friend as a teenager. He predicted that he would become a superstar, which came true. He also predicted that he would become rich, which happened after the release of Nevermind. Finally, he predicted he'd go out in a blaze of glory like Jimi Hendrix, which he did, dying of a self-inflicted shotgun blast to the head.